I don't understand why people don't talk about this more. Welcome to the club that nobody ever talks about. Yes, it is exclusive. Yes, it is members only. And yes, it is the Big M Club. I am talking about menopause. But if you're anything like me, you really weren't told much about menopause. So whether you're perimenopause or you are in the throes of menopause, you are in the right spot. And we are talking about all the stuff that people often don't really talk about, and we really should. So let's bust through all of these taboo topics together. The first one that makes me pretty much want to rip just about every single hair out of my head one by one, because it just makes me that frustrated, is that it is the end of your feminine era. That is such a load of steaming hot I talk about this all the time on my channel. You're either living or you're dead, which means that you are either aging or you are 6 feet under. So my friends, let's embrace this beautiful phase, this rite of passage together. And I also think it's kind of important to not just take the whole thing so seriously. Look, some weird stuff happens and some of you might be like, I breezed right through it. And either one, it's good for you. But there is some weird stuff that happens and stuff that we're a little bit kind of embarrassed to talk about, and that's what we're talking about here. You're not invisible because you are in menopause. You are worthy of being seen. You are worthy of being heard. You are worthy of being sexy, beautiful, gorgeous, confident, all those amazing things that we all as women want. And in fact, I believe that during menopause, we are actually more so the most confident, the most beautiful, the most you version of yourself, because you know a thing or two. You're older, you're wiser, and you're not afraid of so many silly things that you probably were afraid of in your 20s, right? So let's embrace this era of it being our most feminine era, our most beautiful, juicy, and most confident era together. So we're gonna get right into it. So one thing that many women in menopause experience is that their libido just goes away. Like, where did it go? But this is about so much more than not wanting to be sexually active with your partner. This can also affect your confidence and even like your identity, like who you knew yourself to be might drastically change during menopause. I partnered with Joy Wellness for today's video, and guys, I have breaking news for you. You know, some of you might know, if you've been following me for a while, that I have been working with a menopause doctor that really specializes in menopause, and she's more of like a concierge doctor for the last 2 years. So I've been in menopause for 2 years this coming December, but I started my HRT treatment even before I was in menopause, when I was in perimenopause. But look, not gonna lie, it is a huge expense to work with a concierge doctor. Now, obviously, I do believe that our health is the most worthwhile investment, but I started to just kind of assess this year, and I was so happy when I learned all about Joy Wellness. Now, I was shocked, and I mean this in the best sense of the word, of how thorough the process is with Joy. I had a mobile phlebotomist come to my house, and I have to tell you, that gives elite vibes, right? Having to get your blood work done, but you don't even have to leave your kitchen. It's like perfect. And then I met with my doctor and my wellness guide to go over all of my markers, and I was amazed at how thorough and in-depth these tests went into. It basically goes over your complete optimization level. And so I was really pleased to see that most of the things and the healthy habits that I've been doing were really working. But there was one big area that it actually wasn't working, and I was shocked and surprised. So guess what wasn't optimized, to my shock and surprise, which was my hormones. So I had very low estrogen, which is to be expected, but shouldn't be that low when I was doing HRT. My testosterone also was very low. Now, some of this might mean that my body just isn't absorbing it, which could happen for so many different reasons. I had just traveled, you know, depending on your stress, your sleep, all of those factors, but also my progesterone levels were actually a little bit higher. And my doctor explained it to me like this. She said, I understand that you like progesterone, but because you're actually taking probably more than what you need, yes, it's producing great sleep for you, but it's almost like you're putting yourself into a PMS kind of feeling like all the time. And who wants that? Approximately 30 to 45% of women experience a decrease in their libido during menopause. And not so fun fact, I'm definitely one of them. Joy Wellness understands that one size does not fit all, and I was pleasantly surprised at how thorough and cutting edge the process was. In fact, they had the known and even some of the lesser known treatments that I'd previously had access to, like the NAD nasal spray that I still want to enjoy. And I really, really appreciate that everything is super, super upfront and really clear. There's no hidden fees, there's no hidden costs, and you can even use your HSA or FSA card. Right now, Joy is offering 15% off site-wide. So just go to the link in the description box and use code TracyC at checkout. If you don't know where the description box is, underneath my head somewhere you'll see the title of today's video. Tap on more, and if you're on mobile, tap on more again, and everything will be listed down there below. And I really want to hear if you check it out too, because I'm telling you, even if the only thing you do is get all of your markers tested, it is wild to learn where you're really optimized and where you are not. Now let's get back into how you can actually improve your libido during menopause. Number one, HRT. Now, like I said, I've been on HRT for 2 years, and I have to be completely frank with you. This is one area where I just never really felt that I got into a really optimal state. So of course, having low testosterone and low estrogen can really affect you in so many different ways. Like estrogen, it affects your heart health, it can affect your cognitive health, it can affect your moods, and if we have low testosterone, yes, your sex drive can be affected, but also your muscle tone, your energy, your really kind of like drive for life as well, in addition to your sex drive. Now, one area where I talk about all the time of how we can improve our menopause symptoms is through our lifestyle changes, what we eat, how we exercise. And I have a bajillion videos here on YouTube all about that. But I want to say this was one area where I was getting like really, really top-notch marks on my test with Joy Wellness. So pat ourselves on the back for that. When we make these lifestyle changes, it really, really does help. And one thing I also want to say about HRT, do not think for a single split second that if you're on HRT, you're somehow cheating. You're not cheating. These are hormones that we naturally had in our body that start decreasing with age and getting off balance. And it's completely natural and normal and really a good thing to replace them so that you feel better. You're not cheating, you're helping yourself. And it's one piece of the puzzle of your healthcare program, especially during menopause, if you choose to do HRT. Our next taboo topic for us ladies is anger, rage, and all of these mood swings that can happen during menopause, and really the fear of being seen as difficult. Let me ask you a question. Don't you think the world would be so much better and different of a world if we weren't so afraid of being seen as difficult, and if we actually just said what was on our mind? You know, I just watched the Martha Stewart documentary on Netflix, and whether you love her or you hate her, one thing that I was really, really inspired on was her certainty, right? I mean, obviously that also comes with age, of course, right? I think she's about 80 years old, which she looks amazing. She's an incredible person. I think her story is fantastic. And there's just so much to admire about her. Again, like I said, whether you love her or you hate her, but I loved her certainty. And I was like, wow, that is just such a beautiful thing as a woman, like so healing to see someone that's like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Next subject. No ifs, no apologizing about it. And I was like, wow, that's how you get to be at the top of your game, right? Is by having that level of certainty. Yes, you're going to have mood swings, right? Yes, you're going to experience different feelings, right? And I think one thing is that if we can just talk about it and accept it and be kinder and gentler to ourselves about the whole thing, but also just know that this is a result of your hormones shifting and changing wildly during menopause. And then when we can couple that kind of understanding of what's happening along with a level of grace and certainty, and being okay with having no being a full sentence, with having your yes be your yes and your no be your no. And I think menopause, and especially at this age, because obviously we are older, you know, we have lived and we've experienced a thing or two. And the more that we can just stand firmly in our ground and surround ourselves with good, positive people people that really make a difference in our lives, we start kind of crowding out the people that really don't belong there anymore. And look, I understand that life isn't perfect and I don't live on like a puffy pink cloud up here, but I do know that it's one thing that I really enjoy more about aging is my level of directness has increased, and I love that. No more apologizing, no more wishy-washiness, and just like kind of getting to the point with love, but also with certainty. So many women often feel isolated and kind of a little bit embarrassed to talk about the fact that they have memory lapses, or what's often known as brain fog, right? Because we think, oh, it's like early dementia, or maybe something's wrong with me, or just quite honestly, if we're being really, really honest, you just start feeling like, ugh, I'm getting old. But here's the thing, there's so much that we can do to keep ourselves cognitively well. So number one, talk about it. If you can't talk about it with your friends or your family members, talk to a healthcare provider. And you should talk to a healthcare provider because they might have some insights, maybe suggest some medication or even exercises that can help sharpen your brain. I've talked about this at length on my channel that I take an Italian language class every single week. And one of the reasons why I do it is it just keeps me mentally sharp. And that's something that I really, really want. There are many times when I found myself like going into a room or going into my pantry and just kind of standing there being like, why am I here, right? And it's not a good feeling. And you're not crazy and you are not alone. We all often can experience this, and there are so many supplements, medication, and even, like I said, exercises that you can do to sharpen your mind. I like to think of menopause as a period in our lives where it's all about me now, and I know who I am, and I'm stronger, and I'm confident, and I'm just willing to be seen and be me. And on the other side of this, many of us are also dealing with caring for aging parents, and then some of us kids, and of course, now times have changed. Right? I am 50 years old and I have a 5-year-old, and then I have many friends that have teenagers and kids that are in college. So there's such a wide range of caring going on. Now, this can be really exhausting, let's be honest. You know, you finally get to the place where maybe you're really solid in your career and you're really clear on what you want and you have a vision of your life, and this chapter, you know what it is, and there's a lot of giving to other people. So don't make yourself wrong for having those feelings. I have those feelings too, right? I get it. Sometimes I think like, oh, I wish I had met my husband a little bit earlier and gotten married a few years earlier so that my parents could help us with childcare a little bit more. They're certainly involved in my daughter's life, but it's not the same having parents in their 80s as, you know, having parents in their even 70s. It makes a huge, huge difference. Now, we can change that, right, with lifestyle and all the healthy choices that we make. You know, me being an older mom myself, I intend on being really cognitively well and energetic and healthy for as long as humanly possible for my daughter and for my family. But I think it's really, really important to be honest about this part of menopause and this part of this phase of our lives, that it can really lead to extra stress, burnout, and quite honestly, some feelings of resentment. So don't make yourself wrong, beautiful girl. You are not wrong. However, do things to refill your cup, whether that be a day at the spa or a dinner out with a friend, or, you know, a beautiful long bath, or just like going to bed early and reading a book and getting off the screens, but doing things that really nurture and take care of you, because the old saying, we've heard it a million times, you can't take care of other people unless you are fully taken care of first. Now, I've talked about this on my channel before, but there are definitely some weird and kind of a little bit embarrassing, but again, totally normal changes that happen during menopause to our skin and our hair, particularly in finding random body hair. So I'm talking about a nipple hair, a chin hair, like, you know, finding a gray pubic hair, like, yikes, but it happens. And don't even get me started with hot flashes and having that menopausal glow, but it's really more that you're just sweating and really hot all the time. But in all honesty, again, the biggest thing that you can do is lifestyle shifts and changes. Eating healthy foods, making sure that you're super well hydrated, that you're getting adequate protein, that you're eating lots of fruits and vegetables, eating adequate fiber, healthy fats, and also just taking really good care of you. You're gonna get a random chin hair, okay? If you're 20 years old watching this, just wait, you will. I always get one right here. It's like my little friend. I just have to pluck her out, right? And it's no big deal. One thing you probably want to invest in this phase is a magnified mirror so that you can get rid of all those like nose hairs, you can get rid of the chin hairs, you can get rid of your mustache and really see like what's happening. Now for skincare, again, I have tons of videos here on my channel all about skincare and specifically in menopause, but at this phase in your life, Find a good, simple, yet effective skincare program that really works for you. I personally love using serums because they're just more easily absorbed, and I've talked about this at length on my channel, but truly I just like the idea of being able to put something that's kind of lighter onto my skin, that's going to absorb into my skin and give me the effectiveness that I really want from the products that I'm using. And another thing that people don't talk about enough is this kind of question about self-worth that can come up during menopause, like, who am I? You know, maybe you have kids that are grown and like leaving the nest now, and it can really kind of rattle you a little bit, right? Or if maybe you were the kind of person that really relied on your physical appearance, and of course things change. Yes, you're still beautiful. Yes, you're still gorgeous, but it's a different kind of beauty, right? And I think that, you know, if you were always the kind of person, listen, I was a dancer and an actor, and I saw a lot of people were really banking their whole lives on like their appearance, and thank God I did not do that, right? It's like, who are you as a person? What books do you read? What topics can you talk about? What matters to you, right? So I think that that is something that's really important to start looking at more, especially during menopause. You know, give yourself, again, grace. You know, I think a perfect example of someone who I think has had such a great and really powerful and meaningful shift is Pamela Anderson, right? She was like a Playboy playmate, like in the 90s, like was the woman, you know, that very like hypersexualized, lots of smoky makeup, kind of like almost like a caricature of a person, right? And now she's walking all over town, no makeup, has created like a skincare line, like lives on a farm, and is just, in my opinion, more beautiful, more fascinating. It's just like, wow, that's someone I really, really want to talk to. So I don't know, I just think it's a good time in our lives to just really assess. You know, it's never too late to learn new things. It's never too late to change your mind. It's never too late to really step into the vision or the goal or whatever the dream is that maybe you've had in your life. Maybe now you have more time to do it. And even if you don't have more time, because I know I feel busier now than I ever have before, but it's like you have more confidence. You have more of an assuredness in yourself. So I think that this period can also be just a beautiful self-reflection period of menopause to really go like, who am I now and who am I going to be in this next phase of my life? So again, this is a community here and we are together. So I want to thank you so much for being here and being in this conversation with me. That's the power of YouTube, right? It's YouTube. We have created an incredible community of women of almost 300,000 now here on YouTube, and I just appreciate each and every single one of you. Let's get active in the comments. Let me know, what have you experienced since menopause? Or if you're not in menopause yet, because I know we have a big audience that's in perimenopause or, you know, maybe somewhere around there, what are you looking forward to experiencing when you're in menopause? You know, my job here on YouTube is to make you not afraid of menopause and of really just knowing like it's just another phase in your life. It's a milestone and it's beautiful and it's not something to be ashamed of. So we can talk freely here, and I'm just so happy that you're a part of my community. If you want to keep hanging with me here on YouTube, check out this video next and I'll see you there.